Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming up. So I've got an update for you guys on this pretty massive severe weather outbreak impacting the northern plains and parts of the central plains. So we do have a lot of things to talk about with that today, and then we also do have Tropical Storm Brett and Tropical Storm Cindy. Tropical Storm Brett is down near the ABC Islands and parts of northeastern Colombia. That is still barely hanging on to tropical storm strength. Now Cindy, still a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm, so she's approaching a high-end tropical storm status, but she is definitely gaining strength pretty rapidly, but we'll continue watching both storms today very closely. And to start things off, by looking at the radar, you can tell that there is a lot of precipitation falling out here in the Dakotas, mainly North Dakota and parts of northern South Dakota are, getting some of this rainfall and including some of those showers and thunderstorms that have turned severe in the past few hours. But then we also do have a squall line that is approaching the looks like this could definitely be the Chicago area, but is mainly approaching southern southern Wisconsin, and then also parts of northern Illinois. Now, both of these kind of parts of the system are going to be tracking directly eastward, and then it's going to be pushing this low pressure system out of the way, so that it can make some space for itself to get through. But the rest of the country is pretty dry. Look at all this space here in the western U.S., which is actually, it's controlled by a very strong high pressure, area, and it's high pressure, like kind of just, stabilized, area that's just been causing a lot of below average precipitation throughout most of this month, and then you have some parts of the southeast. You guys have been seeing some showery and stormy activity throughout this morning and then early this afternoon. But the rest of the country is pretty much not dealing with any sorts of precipitation. So we're going to be moving on to our alerts, and you can see that once we get on here, you can see that what we've got is mainly a heat advisory. This is pretty much the biggest alert that we have that is pretty much in place for today. This stretches all the way from, northeastern Arkansas down into parts of northern Louisiana, and then into northeastern Texas, and all the way into the panhandle of Texas, but not quite northern Texas. You guys still haven't seen the heat yet, but I do think that this could definitely get updated, and then it could actually spread into parts of northern and central New Mexico and parts of northern Texas as well. But you guys in eastern Oklahoma, you guys are included in this as well. Almost all of Arkansas and a little bit of western Mississippi. So there also is a pretty massive area along the panhandle of Texas included in that excessive heat warning. Now that's that dark shade of purple you see right here. Red flag warning for, I believe this is like 3 or 4 counties in southeastern New Mexico. Then you do also have it looks like this is an excessive heat watch for southeastern Arizona. So this area right here is very dry and hot. So we're seeing a pattern flip where we're going to see some more storms track a little bit closer to Canada and a little bit farther northward until they get into the northeast. So maybe we'll see above average precipitation amounts for the northern U.S. Then while the southern U.S. and the southeast you guys are probably going to stay mainly dry. So very interesting to see what happens there. But we could definitely see a pretty big pattern flip, and that could really cause a lot more problems out here with flooding in the central plains, and then also obviously the northeast. But we're definitely going to continue watching this pattern just to see if we will actually see a substantial pattern change. If not, then we'll still continue watching this heat dome that's been spreading across the south central plains, but we could also still have that threat for a major pattern change. But there is a flood watch that goes out for a lot of counties out here in southeastern Montana. And then I believe this is an air quality alert. It might be a dense fog advisory, but I'm pretty sure this is an air quality alert for looks like It's northern Minnesota, parts of Wisconsin, parts of northern Michigan, and then also a lot of Indiana. Now, there is also, quite a bunch of counties included in this in northeastern Illinois. But that's pretty much it for your alert. So we're going to move on to the NAM 3K model for the North Central. So we're going to be breaking down today's storms. So starting off right here about 9 a.m. this morning, you had a long line of storms stretching all the way from southeastern South Dakota and now stretching into parts of southwestern Minnesota. Now this has been expanding rapidly throughout the afternoon hours of today. You can see that there's more storminess out here. You're still seeing those thunderstorms, but they're looking a little less intense. So maybe this is going to be turning into more of a long time just thunderstorm event for the North Central. But the severe couplets, the severe storms that we're tracking are probably going to be these ones down here in northwestern Illinois, and then also this detached couplet and cluster of storms that's moving eastward. Looks like this is eastern Minnesota, but both of these storms are moving the same way as the main storm is, because there is a low pressure center tracking this, controlling the system. But this is definitely going to continue throughout the rest of today. We get to very early morning hours of tomorrow. You're still not seeing too much severe weather, but this is going to be dying down a lot once we get into the late morning hours of tomorrow. But you still have some pretty strong storms out here in northeastern Wisconsin, so you guys got to watch out. If you're in northeastern Wisconsin tomorrow morning, you could wake up to some pretty intense thunderstorms, maybe some damaging wind gusts out there. Tries to form a squall line, but just can't do it. And then maybe behind it, you'll get another round of severe weather, because this is actually looking a little bit more interesting, a little bit more organized here. So you do have a squall line that will form. So it looks like you may have another ramp up of severe weather tomorrow. Looks like late afternoon tomorrow to early evening tomorrow, you could definitely have a ramp up of severe weather, but it looks like you will have a squall line. I mean, look at this. You've got a pretty nice sized squall line, pretty sharp cutoff, which is what you need for those damaging wind gusts. But this line is stretching all the way from northwestern Michigan all the way down into the northwestern border of Ohio and Indiana, and then stretching into parts of south central Indiana. But I mean, it's going to be a pretty big area that's going to be under this, in the way of this line. But it's going to continue for the rest of tomorrow night. We're getting into 10 p.m. You're still seeing that damaging wind threat, especially down here in looks like northwestern and north central Kentucky. So I think you guys could actually see a tornado or two out there, just because you don't see a squall line just exactly right here, but you do have two storms, or supercells I should say, that appear to have curviness in their characteristics. So this could definitely be a tornado producer, maybe one or two weak tornadoes out there, but it could definitely be a crazy night tonight. But we're gonna see more of this severe weather continue into tomorrow, and then maybe even into Monday morning. But this line continues into the northeast. So I mean, if you wanted to see how far this line would go, I mean, it's probably going to form probably somewhere around here, and it's going to be going all the way out towards the western Pennsylvania and upstate New York kind of area. But behind it, maybe some more showery activity and storms possible. But the rest of the week, or the rest of the day on Monday, should be mainly dry. But you're getting into 7-8 p.m. and you're still seeing some thunderstorms out there. But mainly the western states, the states that are farther west, are probably going to see that drier weather more quicker. But we definitely will see a lot of storminess throughout this entire region for a few more days, but it will eventually move off to the northeast, and you'll have some sunshine and some warmer temperatures out there. But we move on to our Storm Prediction Center. We did have an update just a few minutes ago. You do have a pretty big slight risk in place for today. This is just around central and southeastern Iowa, and then you do also have parts of western Illinois included in this risk. So it's a pretty good area, pretty big area. You got over 5 million people. But, the big show tonight is that marginal risk. Look at this, 33 million people, almost 34 million people in the way of this. It's a huge area included in this marginal risk. So if you're in the marginal or slight risk for tonight, you got to be alert today. I think at least one relatively strong storm will definitely move through your area. But there is another very small area right up here in north central Minnesota that is actually included in this slight risk. So you guys gotta watch out for that because when you see a very small and like a independent area in a elevated risk for severe weather, that kind of tells you that that place is going to be pinpointed for a specific severe thunderstorm that's going to move through that area. So got to watch out if you're in Fargo, North Dakota, and then also just west of Duluth, Minnesota. But we got a tornado threat. It's nuts. I mean, it's kind of high considering that we haven't been seeing too many tornadoes throughout the duration of the system, but you're up to a 5% risk for that one area here around Fargo, and then also parts of Des Moines, Iowa. You guys are also included in a 5% risk for that. But you got Des Moines, Iowa, Fargo, North Dakota, Waterloo, Iowa, Ames, Iowa, and West Des Moines, Iowa. All of you guys are included in this 5% risk. 2% risk, it's a pretty big area, over 8.5 million people. But as I get away from this, you gotta go back and check all of these cities. So Minneapolis, Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Springfield, Illinois, and Peoria, Illinois. So you just got to watch out for those, tornadic supercells tonight. We go to the wind threat. You're up to a 15% risk, but this is a lot farther east. So you did see that squall line forming just around this exact area. So that kind of shows you where that that squall line is going to form, and it's probably going to be somewhere around the Iowa and Illinois border. But major cities like Des Moines, Iowa, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Springfield, Illinois, Peoria, Iowa, and Davenport, Iowa, all of you, or Peoria, Illinois, and Springfield, Illinois, all of you guys are going to be experiencing some damaging wind gusts throughout a supercell tonight. Or not, it doesn't even have to be a supercell, just a regular thunderstorm. But it definitely could be severe. Then you go to the hail threat. You have a hatched risk and a 15% risk right in the middle of Iowa. So if you're in the Des Moines area or just north of that, just the region, you just got to be ready for some pretty large hail. And don't be surprised if you're going to bed and then all of a sudden you start hearing some clanks on your roof and you look outside and it's like raining ping pong balls but made of ice. I mean, it's going to be pretty wild out there. But we go to the day 2 threat. We're not going to get too detailed in this, but you are up to an enhanced risk. This is probably going to be the most dangerous threat of the event tomorrow. So this, like I said earlier, we did have an update on this just a few minutes ago, but you've got a pretty big area in this slight risk, and you do have an enhanced risk for that area in Kentucky I was talking about. But here's that tornado threat, 5%, right where I was talking about in Kentucky, where you could see an isolated tornado or two. Well, there it is on the SPC. And then hail threat, got 2 areas in the 15% risk under a hatched risk. This one in central Arkansas and this one in west central Kentucky. But we go to I think I got away from this, but I think we're gonna move on to the tropics. So we're just gonna be talking briefly about the tropics right now. So as you can see, you've got tropical storm Brett, barely a tropical cyclone. Areas of rain and gusty winds are affecting portions of the ABC Islands and northeastern Colombia. Then you've got Tropical Storm Cindy, obviously. Still 60-mile-per-hour storm, but for now. So this could definitely change in the next few hours. But here's Brett, just a few hundred miles west of the Lesser Antilles Islands. And then you've got Cindy a few hundred miles east or northeast of the Lesser Antilles Islands, moving east-northeast at, looks like, 20 miles per hour, or northwest, sorry, I should say, at 20 miles per hour. But, you know, we look at the possible tracks for Cindy. These are spaghetti models, according to the GEFS. So this is a blend of a bunch of models according to the GFS. But a lot of these models are saying that this will actually impact Newfoundland and parts of Canada. So this is very important because most of you guys out there are not ready for tropical activity yet, and Cindy could quite possibly hit pretty quickly and actually pretty fairly strong. You could see that some of these models take this well into parts of Canada, and as a 980 millibar, a borderline 990 and 980 millibar low pressure storm. So this is going to be a pretty intense storm for looks like a lot of the coastline, a lot of the coastal regions of Maine and Newfoundland. So you guys up here, you gotta stay aware and gotta make sure that you're gonna stay safe throughout next week. But the timing for this is another story that we could get detailed in a different update. Maybe tonight I'll give you guys another update. But it's looking like the main track of this is that it's gonna look like it could take a aim at like northeastern coast, but it'll actually tail off and impact this island up here. I don't know what it's called, but this area, for now, I'll say that this is Newfoundland. But you just gotta make sure that you're gonna stay aware and stay safe when this storm hits. But I think I have a game pretty soon, a baseball game to play, so I got to wrap this up. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch, and I hope you guys have a nice day. So just stay safe out there tonight with that severe weather. Tornado threat definitely possible tonight too in that Kentucky area. But also, Cindy could definitely impact parts of the northeastern coastline, especially northeastern Maine, and then also parts of Newfoundland. So stay safe, everyone, and have a good day.